Guys, the Las Vegas Aces are looking a whole lot lighter after some of these trades and free agency signings that have happened. And guys, it's leaving the bench to look a little sparse.
Breaking news in the same offseason. The Las Vegas Aces lost their general manager, 2 of their best assistant coaches, and half of their team. If that isn't a warning sign, I don't know what is.
The Las Vegas Aces, the team that revitalized the modern day super team in the WNBA. They went from dominating the league, is now the team that did not live up to expectations this year, and is a team that's one by one falling apart in front of our own very eyes.
What is causing A'ja Wilson to cry? It seems like what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas, especially when it comes to team drama. But wait, there's more. Add a pending lawsuit and rumors of underhanded deals, and you've got a full-blown implosion. Are you ready to move on?
So, for all Aces fans, it's over. It's over. It's over. The reign of the Aces is over. I understand the shortest dynasty in the history of the sport of basketball. You know, I've never heard of a dynasty that won 2 championships and then was done, because you're seeing all the ring-chasing free agents getting out of Vegas.
As the saying goes, karma is coming back to bite the Las Vegas Aces in a big way. Do you recall the day when they were the world's back-to-back champions with an unstoppable roster? Those days are becoming a thing of the past. For a moment, let's go back in time to when the Aces were riding high and flaunting their swagger. They believed that A'ja Wilson and Becky Hampton were invincible, but after their defeat to the New York Liberty in the semifinals, the cracks appeared.
We have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then, you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year. It just won't. And I'm sad about that, because I really like that group. They were a pain in my ass, but I was a pain in their ass too.
Coach Hammond's remarks following that defeat are now beginning to seem less like assurance and more like a warning. She stated that the squad wouldn't be the same in 2025, which at the time we all assumed meant they would return stronger. However, it turns out that she may have been foretelling a complete collapse.
Oh, I mean, Becky Hammond, you were right. Congratulations, but did you really think it would be this different, a roster?
The initial domino to fall Martin, Kate the Golden State Valkyrie grabbed the fan favorite and spark plug, who had been left unprotected in the expansion draft before anybody could question their strategy. It's as if they gave one of their most promising young players to a competitor.
I'm really excited. This league is all about opportunity, and you just need one shot, right? And I am very thankful for the Aces and everything I got to learn there, but I'm really excited for this new beginning and to build something from the ground up here with the Valkyries.
However, that was only the start. The real shocker was when Kelsey Plum, the exceptional shooter, chose not to sign an extension. Then, fans were left wondering how she was traded to the Los Angeles Sparks, even though they were certain they received Jewel Lloyd in exchange. This was especially surprising because Plum is younger, more effective, and doesn't demand the ball as much as Lloyd.
The Seattle Storm are sending Jewel Lloyd to the Las Vegas Aces in a blockbuster 3-team trade that moves Kelsey Plum to the LA Sparks. That's according to ESPN. As part of the deal, Seattle receives the 2nd pick in this year's WNBA draft from LA in exchange for the Storm's number 9 pick, while the Aces also receive the 13th pick, a second-round selection from the Sparks.
Additionally, let's discuss that bench, which was once thought to be the AC's hidden weapon but is now essentially empty, making it less covert. Coulson, Sydney, the best friend of A'ja Wilson, has joined the Indiana Fever.
Latest departures for the Las Vegas Aces include 2 heavy hitters off the bench and 2 former 2023 and 2024 Sixth Players of the Year.
Alicia Clark is returning to her former haunts with the Seattle Storm, and Tiffany Hayes will be joining Kate Martin at the Golden State Valkyries.
Let's start with Alicia Clark. According to Ramona Shelburne of ESPN, the Aces wanted to bring back Alicia Clark. But when Seattle came a-knocking, Alicia was like, you know what? I would love to go back to my WNBA home, which is Seattle. Now, guys, if y'all don't know, Alicia Clark won 2 titles with the Seattle Storm in 2018 and 2020, and now at 37 years old, she is looking to bring her 3-and-D game back to Seattle.
It's similar to playing musical chairs, only that 5 important players lost their entire rotation when the music stopped, leaving the Aces without a seat. You have to wonder what's happening behind the scenes to create this mass exodus. Up in smoke.
Then, of course, there is Tiffany Hayes, who, guys, Tiffany Hayes was not even supposed to be in the WNBA last season. She had actually retired in the offseason of 2024.
Tiffany Hayes, who just won the 6th Player of the Year award, is leaving to join the Valkyries. This isn't just any player, though. She averaged 9.5 points, 2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game the previous season, and is proving she still has it when she plays. It's like watching your best player take their ball and go home. Only in this case, they're taking it to a completely different team. Hayes was a vital addition to the Aces when she came out of retirement, and now she's leaving.
Tiffany Hayes, she hopped on with the Las Vegas Aces mid-season for the 2024 season and made a crazy awesome comeback. Guys, she was averaging nearly 10 points a game off the bench. She gave the Aces that extra little gut punch that they needed off the bench to give them some more intensity, give them some offensive versatility of sorts. She's one of those players that Tiff Hayes can get to the basket. Tiff Hayes, if she has the basketball in her hand, she can kind of do whatever she wants with it. And you're not really going to really be able to stop her like that.
Not to mention that defeat to the Liberty in the semifinals wasn't just a setback. It served as a wake-up call. Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young when the offensive powerhouses of Aces combined for a pitiful 28 points. It's not just a bad day. Rather, it's a warning sign that your scoring plan is badly flawed. You want numbers? Let's discuss numbers. What's causing this mass exodus? The Aces have lost around 40% of their scoring output from the previous season, which is not a dip, but rather a nosedive. It's like seeing a high-flying circus act realize they forgot to put up the safety net. Is it the whispered conflict in the locker room that Wilson's ego is growing too large for Sin City? Or is there a deeper decay at the heart of what used to be the NBA's model franchise?
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate because that's how I get the best out of my team.
According to Asia Wilson's social media posts, the dynasty that appeared unstoppable only months ago is now looking about as stable as a house of cards in a Vegas windstorm. This isn't just a bump in the road for the Aces. It's a full-on crisis. They're losing players. They're losing their identity. She's crying. And you have to ask yourself if this is all karma coming back to haunt them. Perhaps the basketball gods decided it was time for a little humility lesson. Just when you thought the Las Vegas Aces couldn't get any worse, the real drama was happening behind closed doors the entire time. Remember how their front office used to be the league's envy? Now it's more like a ghost town. What's causing this mass exodus from the top down?
Also, there is a huge thing that you all have to keep in mind is that the Las Vegas Aces do not have a GM right now. They let go of their GM a couple months ago, and they have not put anyone in that place. And so, hey, Nikki Fargas and Becky Hammond are trying to make some wonders without an actual GM.
First, let's discuss General Manager Natalie Williams' termination, which was officially due to a front office restructure that was unclear and severe. The Aces still don't have a GM after several months. It seems as though they are playing basketball without a point guard calling the shots. Your guess is as good as mine, but wait, it gets even more intriguing. Rumor has it that Becky Hammond may be considering a power play, with some speculating that she may be vying for a dual position as general manager and head coach, similar to her former boss Greg Popovich's remarks about taking on too many responsibilities. Is this a wise decision, or a surefire way to fail?
Chicago, as we just said, has Tyler Marsh as their head coach.
Additionally, Hammond's top assistants have packed their bags and left, so if you thought the coaching staff was safe, think again. Once a vital member of the Aces coaching staff, Natalie Nakas is now creating history with the Golden State Valkyries as the first Asian American head coach in WNBA history. Good for her. But Vegas has a difficult time.
He was also an assistant for the Las Vegas Aces, so that's caused a lot of back and forth because they've had two now assistant coaches leave. Natalie Nakase is now the head coach of the Valkyries.
Not to be outdone, Tyler Marsh made the decision to jump ship as well. He's taking his skills to the Chicago sky, but if you've been watching the WNBA, you know that things aren't always easy. Is Marsh fleeing one sinking ship only to board another? Only time will tell.
What is going on in their locker room? Like, this Aces team is falling apart. This is not a coach that I would want to play for.
With no general manager and a coaching staff that has been dismantled more quickly than a sushi restaurant fish, the Aces are starting to look less like the powerhouse they once were and more like a team that has lost its way. You have to wonder what's really going on behind those glamorous Vegas curtains because, as they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But not this time. The Aces' private problems are being made public, and it's not pretty. From coach suspensions to discrimination lawsuits, this team has more drama than a soap opera marathon.
On top of that, the league is investigating the Aces for potential salary cap circumvention. Back in May, the Las Vegas Convention Authority gave each of the players an additional $100,000 to basically be active in the community.
Let's discuss the big issue, the Derica Hami case. This isn't a small argument. Rather, it involves grave claims of unjust treatment and discrimination. The league didn't take these accusations lightly. They hit the Aces with a record fine of $500,000 and took away their 2025 first-round draft pick. That's not just a slap on the wrist. It's a full-on knockout punch to the team's future, especially when you already have a depleted bench. Hami claims she was mistreated after becoming pregnant and that the management of the Aces failed to support her during this time. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like the conduct of a championship-caliber organization.
Breaking news came down, so we have to discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're Thanos right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones.
Additionally, there are whispers regarding under-the-table player bonuses just when you think things can't get much worse. The league is looking into whether players received benefits that weren't disclosed. I'm not an expert, but that sounds a lot like cheating to me. And if there's one thing sports fans detest more than losing, it's cheating. This goes beyond a few bad actors or isolated incidents, and it depicts a team culture that is completely broken. They've gone from being the WNBA's golden child to its problem child faster than you can say what happens in Vegas. Let's compare this dumpster fire to what's happening in Indiana this offseason. They're making all the right moves, and they're not just changing players, they're completely revamping their organization.
I am ready to proclaim the Indiana Fever as your WNBA champs.
And wow, did the new coaching staff and front office go to work? They went on a shopping binge and signed championship veterans in free agency. It seems like they're assembling a dream team to surround their new golden girl, and Natasha Howard checked the boner you bet Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson certainly and they managed to resign their star Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
Beyond the stats, Clark's leadership energized the team's culture and made them more than just underdogs with a rising core that includes standout players like Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull, and seasoned guard Kelsey Mitchell leading the charge. Her debut season was nothing short of spectacular. She broke 62 records, brought unparalleled energy to the team, and attracted league-wide attention. The Fever's outlook for 2025 and beyond is bright, and its dedication to creating a solid, encouraging workplace contrasted sharply with the drama-plagued last season. With its focus on long-term development and team building, Indiana was able to draw in free agents looking for stability and a clear vision. Word around the WNBA was that the state's resurgent front office and Clark's allure were making the Fever a top destination for top talent.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
The Fever is systematically creating what could be the next WNBA dynasty while the Aces are busy putting out fires and watching players flee. They're not just making moves, they're making smart moves. They're fostering a culture where players want to be where they feel valued and supported. You have to wonder if this is the true cause of the mass. It's not difficult to imagine a player watching the Aces situation and then looking at what's happening in Indiana and thinking, yeah, I know where I'd rather be. The Aces have changed from being the team everyone wanted to join to the one that everyone is trying to leave. And it's not just about losing games or players. It's also about losing trust, losing respect, and possibly losing their future. That's called exodus in Las Vegas.
Building quality depth is going to be important. You know, when you have a core three like we have, you know, surrounding them with players who are going to, you know, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, you know, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well.
With Stephanie White back at the lead and Amber Cox making the decisions as M, the Indiana Fever are rising from the ashes and not just rebuilding, they're reinventing. The Fever are establishing themselves as the team to defeat, and they have added veterans Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, Dee Boner, and Sydney Carlson. Not only are great athletes, but they are also championship caliber mentors for the next generation of talent. Speaking of youthful talent, everyone is watching Caitlin Clark. While the Aces are fighting to remain relevant, the Fever are not only assembling a team, they're creating a dynasty around their new superstar. Indiana is systematically creating the foundation for sustained success. The WNBA's power dynamics are changing, with Indianapolis gaining ground. If you agree that the Fevers are only getting started even though the Aces' reign may be over, please let us know in the comments by subscribing and turning on all notifications so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.